Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. It's time!
3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Taylor's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Hey, everybody. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us as you travel throughout the day. Make sure you keep that radio station locked right where you got it. Glad to have you on this beautiful Thursday. It's always beautiful if it's not freezing, but we're not far from that, were we? Last night, man, got down there. Appreciate everybody joining us. Hope you're having a great day. Looking forward to another fun one. Coach Griffith will join us today. Dustin, Schutte, Matt Taylor as well. Has plenty to get to as the football season rolls on. We're into, I think it's officially week 8 or 9. You start to lose track because you can't you just look at the schedule anymore because of all the bye weeks and things in week 0 and all of that good stuff. But I hope everybody is planning for the weekend. What are you doing? You going anywhere? You doing anything? You going to any games? Do you have tickets to the sold out Indiana football game? Man, it's just all rolling. High school season into the playoffs. Are you following any teams there? Good luck. You have children playing. Good luck. Hope everyone is just enjoying it all. Glad to have see some new names on the chat board as well. Appreciate that, of course, as always. Indiana football benefiting, man, from the recent fallout at Penn State, as from the recruiting standpoint. They're going to have some heavy hitters in for this game this week. And I'm going to try to get Steve Wiltfong on tomorrow from On 3 to talk about this. But I've been waiting for Indiana's recruiting to kind of hit a little boom, and I thought it would do so on its own, but that has not quite. I mean, the recruiting's been fine, but it hadn't taken the uptick that I was thinking that it might take, or pretty sure that it will. But LeVar Keys, man, he is a former Penn State receiver commit that will be in town this weekend. So, amongst many others, we can talk about a few of those when Coach Griff joins us here in a little bit. But, yeah, there is a ton of guys that are coming in. And Indiana hoped to take advantage of that. I mean, we're talking some big-time players. The kid, LeVar Keys, he's from Hyattsville, Maryland, DeMatha. You've heard of those. If you know anything about sports, DeMatha High School, one of the most famous high schools in the country. But TJ Lewis, Kellen Weimer, Julian Elzey, Malik Moore, all these guys from all around the country. Jalen Hill from Bellflower, California. St. John Bosco. Let's see. The number 7 overall prospect, Kellen Hall, is expected. I mentioned TJ Lewis. This is his second visit. So there's just, you have to go to the Hoosier.com and get it all figured out. But there is a litany of people, recruits, coming to visit Indiana now. And I think they're going to start making some serious hay. My question, and I'll pose this to Coach when he joins us, is where's the line for Cignetti as far as I don't know that he's a well, speaking of the devil, I was just saying I was going to wait and save this question for you. But
Okay.
because Coach Griff joining us, Indiana, tons of recruits coming in this weekend. Based and bouncing off of what they've been doing. Then you add in the fact of what's happened at Penn State, and you've got just a perfect storm for Indiana in a good way. But my question is, where's the line for Kurt Cignetti on? I don't know that he's an Ohio State type of talent, type of guy where you've just got three deep at every position. And it's like a walking robot because of his coaching style, which I'm saying his players love him, but he's also a demanding coach. But you have to be to win, and I think most players know that if you want to win, and most of those guys do, there's going to be demands placed upon you, and but I wonder where the line is. As far as the player that is looking for that, looking to be pushed, looking to be made better, is always going to give you that kind of effort and not have that which I can't think of the word I'm looking for, the diva type attitude with today's athlete. So I'm wondering, where's that line of guy, or it's just because you're going to get some wrong,
Right?
At that, usually you don't get them wrong when they're a 3-star or a 2-star because those guys are just hungry,
Right.
So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, like you just said, Sig may not be every kid's cup of tea. Just because of maybe what he's projecting, maybe comes across to a kid differently than he may come across to a kid that's a great 5-star player, so forth and so on. But I do think what helps Indiana the biggest is having coaches like Shanahan, Haynes, and some of the other coaches that are, in some respects, youthful, that have the relatability to kids that can bridge the gap from a kid's uneasiness, maybe with Sig's outward, persona. I think that's huge. So I don't think you set any limitations. I do think, like you said, too, there's a lot of doors opening in the recruiting world, especially after the Oregon win that has gotten the attention of some that may have, written off ever thinking of Indiana as a possible visit. And even those kids at Penn State that have decommitted, I know Indiana's had at least 2 in already from that decommitted list. And I do believe there's possibly one this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't re-looked at the list per se, but those kids have kind of, when someone from Indiana has reached out to them, have reconsidered Indiana based upon their showing of late. And I do think they'll have a chance to pick up a kid or two from that coaching change, and maybe some of Florida kids as well, because it's not like they don't recruit the entire country. They'll have an opportunity for that. So it's an interesting time period now because just the changes in general that are happening coast to coast. And it's going to be a bigger coaching carousel this year because last year's was so little. There was very little changeover in terms of available head coaching positions. This year, I think, will be a pretty big year of open positions throughout the country when it comes to head coaching openings.
Coach Griffith with us, Jim Coyle as well. Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We've got more coming up. Keep it locked where you got it. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after these messages from Coach Griffith's favorite spots.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Glad to have you along. Appreciate you being with us. Jim Coyle with you, Coach Griffith as well. I'm watching a video right now, Coach, of Syracuse running sprints after a win.
Yeah.
First of all, these sprints are 20 yards long, maybe. That's not a sprint. That's not a sprint. That's nothing. That's a joke. Then you're watching it and you can tell they're not being made to run hard. So this was just all show. And I think this is ridiculously stupid on a coach's part to do this. You know what? You take care of this business in practice. You take care of it the next day. You take care of it in so many different ways, but this is stupid. This looks ridiculous. I think that makes the coach look ridiculous. And the fact that it's after a win, it's all the more. I just think it's dumb. I don't think you air your dirty laundry like that, and that's what that is. That you're if you were really doing something, it would be one thing, but they're not. It's a show. These are, running 20 yards is nothing for one thing. Nobody runs that small of sprints in practice. At least we sure as hell didn't. Ours were twice that long.
Oh yeah,
at the minimum.
Yeah.
And we had to actually run. So, but I just think it's goofy.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that was earlier in the year. Whoops. You lost me. Did you still hear me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm having technical difficulties this morning as usual. But that was from earlier this year. And I got the gist of, they weren't playing hard enough. The old Herb Brooks, if you're not going to skate during the game, we'll skate after, from, the great movie. Yeah, I didn't think that was necessarily a very good look, in the sense, like you said, its message may have been, outwardly acceptable, I guess, to some people. But the reality of it is, what if a kid would have one of his top players would have pulled a hamstring or twisted an ankle or blew out a knee, that would have been a tragedy. I'm not sure what the full purpose and meaning behind it was, but evidently he got their attention, but maybe for the wrong reasons.
I'm reading a story as well about an SEC official. Now, I got to.
Oh my, that's bad.
So this is actually true.
Yeah, the official that got basically fired for the rest of the year from the call at all. There were several calls in the Auburn Georgia game that were just absolutely crazy. And Herb Freeze, he has every right to blow his top, because this was a ball game that came down to a call that was overturned on the field with really no true video evidence of a touchdown that would have put Georgia or put Auburn up 3 scores before halftime. And it ultimately, impacted the game, because from that point forward, it was kind of chaotic. Then, you've seen all this implications or the problems with Kirby Smart and what is a timeout and what is a clap. I think you've seen some of the, Lane Kiffin had a couple jokes about it and things like that. And this guy just did not take charge of that game. And it was quite obvious in some respects that there was something wrong with this dude. And then 2 weeks prior to that, Auburn at Oklahoma ran a trick play that had deception in it, where they held a kid by the sideline as if you were going off the field, right?
Right.
Well, all players must be inside the white lines before they can be eligible to participate in a play per se. And Oklahoma scores.
I thought you have to be in the huddle.
Well, if you're a no huddle team, you got to be inside the numbers before, as they break the line of scrimmage, blah, blah, blah. But they outlawed this rule. They outlawed this specific play years ago, because
we used to run it.
Yeah, the kid would stand on the sideline, look at you, and when the ball was snapped, you'd say go, and then they throw it down the field without anybody covering. Well, they outlawed that years ago. Well, they let that play stand in the Oklahoma game versus Auburn, and it cost Auburn the ball game. And that was this individual referee as well. But there were other complaints in that ball game. I think they said 11 different complaints, and I'm not sure it was all Auburn. I'm not so sure it wasn't Georgia as well. But I feel sorry for the guy, because he's such a well-known SEC official, has been in the conference for a number of years, have his final days as an official in the SEC come down to being suspended by the SEC for what has occurred under his watch. That's not a great thing. I don't know what about the crew itself, because that crew is now white hat. They don't have the white hat. So I don't know if that means those guys are out of a job as well for now, because they're kind of grouped by that individual, So, but yeah, it wasn't a good thing. I mean, it had to be done. It really had to be done, because it made them look bad, made the SEC look bad too.
Well, I understand and I agree. You just rarely do you see this.
Yeah, and it seems like it was always Auburn. It was happening. It was happening to Auburn, because they've lost like 4 games in a row in the SEC by a total of like 29 points. It's a very slim margin. It's that one score, you're either on top or on the bottom. And unfortunately, Auburn's been on the bottom. And I do believe two or three of those losses was this specific crew, which should never happen anyway. Once there was a controversial call, they should never have been assigned again to Auburn.
And then we've got all kinds of stuff going on with, I think I saw Chauncey Billups. Portland Trailblazers coach. Let me say that again. Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, 2 famous names, were arrested
today as part of a pair of investigations related to illegal gambling.
Oh, Jesus.
This is coming from ESPN's Sham Sharania. Rozier was arrested early Thursday morning at a hotel in Orlando, Florida.
Mm.
The Heat lost their season opener to the Magic last night when Rozier did not play due to a coach's decision.
Yeah.
Phillips' arrest in Oregon was made as part of a separate but related illegal gambling case linked to an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia.
Oh, nice.
According to an ABC News report, Phillips is expected to make an initial court appearance later today. Cash Patel. The fact that I know Cash Patel's name is amazing because he is he's with the Eastern District of New York. Oh, he's the FBI director. That's
he's the FBI. He's the head boss.
You don't like to see those names popping up in sports stories. But
no, and it's always
in multiple states flagged suspicious betting interest on Rozier stats ahead of a Charlotte Pelican New Orleans game on March in 2023. See, this stuff is just now coming home to roost.
Yeah,
this
they've been
back when people didn't realize how good they were at finding this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they're finding out now.
Yeah. Well, this single game, I say this tongue in cheek because there are parlays that I've participated in betting on college football and NFL. So let me say that as, $1 here, $1 there. But they've these player these player stats of a game, like who's going to score the first touchdown or how many yards somebody is going to get, blah, blah, blah. And in basketball, I'm sure it's the same way, but it can be quite lucrative because of, statistical aspect of things. And they've come under great scrutiny because of the possibility of what you're just discussing there happening, where somebody underperforms or, I'm sure it's never overperforms. I'm sure it's always having to do underperforming, but it's crazy because in basketball, it always seems that's the sport that gets hit the hardest with illegal gambling schemes, with point shaving or, all the scandals that there's been in basketball.
Well, it's easier to manipulate.
Yeah, it is.
Basketball game.
Yeah.
And if you're smart, you could probably, I don't know.
You're talking to the wrong dude.
They seem to always catch them. So,
they eventually do, right? Because of, like you said, the monitoring of the money. It always, follow the money, as they say. But that's the sad part. I thought I saw something else about that. It may not have been even the NBA. It may have been something else in the collegiate ranks too. Is that there was something to the effect of this type of story. And maybe it was just this story pointing back to previous issues, but yeah, it just seems like it's always the basketball that always is the sport that gets picked on for these gambling things, and it's an unfortunate thing to see. But if there's money to be made, that there are people there standing with their hands out ready to make it.
Yeah, but here's the stupid thing. Terry Rozier is in the final season of a 4-year, $96 million contract.
Why?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a pure why question.
You're tripping over dollars to pick up a nickel.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the thing of it is that means you could. Why the FBI and all of them are in on it, because that they said, the amount of money that was bet or, in those specific instances, here's a guy that's got a lot of pocket change and, like you said, he's tripping over, a nickel and ruining his life and career because he's stupid. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand it either. I'm kind of with you on that one, but I'm not smart enough to figure out how they actually do it, because it just seems like an overly elaborate scheme in some of the situations that I've read about.
Cooper Flagg made his debut last night. The Pacers, they get underway tonight, opening up the season, I believe, against Oklahoma City. So all kinds of stuff going on, man.
No, it's that time of year, baby.
Oh, yeah. Indiana basketball is about to kick up. College basketball, Purdue, #1 in the country. Football's in full throat right now.
Yeah.
As we are in, what week is this in college football?
I think it's week 9 to be.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's week 9. But going back to your thing, it's like you now get football on about every night of the week now, because now that you've got Conference USA that's occupying Tuesdays and Wednesday nights broadcast or whatever. And I just don't understand it, because it's such a disservice to fans. Number one, there's nobody in the stadium. Like there was a great game last night, New Mexico State and Missouri State, that went into overtime. There's absolutely nobody in a 30,000 seat stadium, because it's a weeknight game, number one, and you're eliminating multiple people from your fan base because they can't get there because of work. Why are they? I mean, I understand why they're doing it. They're getting paid by ESPN or CBS Sports an enormous amount of money, but at the same time, at the risk of alienating all your, all your supporters and fans, because now what happens, like you said, college basketball starting. So what are they going to do on the weekends? They're not going to worry about college football now. They're going to go to college basketball, and it just doesn't make sense. The MAC tried that, and they got out of that contract as soon as they could, because they knew it was a bad deal for them.
Well, are we talking college basketball or pro basketball? Because the line's starting to really blur. Michigan State men's basketball coach Tom Izzo ripped the NCAA's recent decision to allow former NBA G League players to play college ball. This is another thing of stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
The NCAA does so many stupid things. It's beyond comprehension how the stupidity that they make in some of these decisions. This being one of them. Theory Darlin, 21, committed to Santa Clara last month after spending parts of 2 seasons in the G League. We talked about that then.
Mm-hmm.
While London Johnson, who spent 3 seasons in the league, will attend Louisville.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. There's no more lines blurred, because it's in the same arena now, I guess. I always thought if you opted out of your final years of eligibility and you went into the NBA or NFL or Major League Baseball, you couldn't all of a sudden, if you don't make it, say, oh, well, I'll go back and play college sports now because it's now a way I can make money. Well, that should be an easy layup for the NCAA, and say, no, that's against the rules. You forfeited that when you went to the G League or you went to single A ball, and they're afraid of getting sued. That's a slam dunk case. No court in America is going to rule against you in that regard. I mean, I can't understand that one. That you're exactly right on that one. And that's what Izzo was trying to state. His comment to a certain degree was about they're afraid of being sued now. It's now they're in a mindset that they got to rule in favor of every kid across America, or they're going to get sued, and they can't afford to have any big judgments against them anymore. And it's gotten to the point. That's
exactly what Tom Izzo said.
Yeah.
He said they're afraid they're going to get sued. Yeah. Izzo told reporters Tuesday. Someone is going to say, well, if they go pro, it doesn't work out, they should be able to come back. And then he's talking about the freshmen you've recruited and this, that, and the other things.
Yeah. It's a bad look.
It's stupid.
Bad look.
I mean, we're not talking about a guy who just got drafted or something. I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys have played 2 and 3 years.
Yeah.
At the professional level.
Right. Because in basketball, you can come out after your freshman year or sophomore year?
You have to be 19. It's an age thing.
Yeah. See, in football, you have to be like going into your junior year, or I can't remember. There's a definitive.
Like a 3 year.
Yeah. Right. But in basketball, like you said, I'm going to go jump to the pros. And if I don't make it and go to the G League, I'll play there for a couple of years. Well, if I don't make it there, I can go back and make more money playing NCAA college basketball now.
If I don't make it there,
because the G League is not going to pay me what I can make at, NCAA school, especially in basketball, because you're limited. There's only so many guys you can get out on the court. But yeah, Izzo was on his soapbox preaching it yesterday, and it was quite rough.
It's always great, number one, but it's usually true, everything he says. I mean,
he was very matter-of-factly in that regard, stating the obvious there about how stupid it is. Because he says, I'm going to get done with this and go call Jordan and Magic Johnson, and why.
The bearing the headline here, Louisville is going to be really good.
Yeah.
They're already going to be good.
Yeah, this is the explanation point.
Good.
This was
now
the
they've got a guy that spent 3 years in the G League.
Yeah, it's crazy. Doesn't make sense at all.
Louisville, call them the Louisville Celtics.
Probably. I tell you, this is what's refreshing about, in some respects, about what is being accomplished in Bloomington with Indiana football, because you can now get lost in that arena, and it's all about what the Indiana Hoosiers got on the table, what this game is really meaning the weekend. You got, Fox, big noon kickoff coming into town. You got a team that's coming in that's red hot in the UCLA Bruins, but Indiana is still a multiple touchdown favorite in this game, which was kind of surprising, but in some respects, I don't know in that regard, but you kind of what's Vegas know if the Indiana's a 3 touchdown favorite? And then the fact that
it's Indiana.
Nico's banged up. He's banged up. He's got a knee. And so does about their two running backs are banged up, in this last game against Maryland, which I rewatched, and that was a hard-hitting game in that regard. I felt sorry for Maryland because they battled and only to have Nico, take them all the way down the field and set them up for a field goal. And that's how they lost. And but that was a hard-hitting game. And that Indiana is going to face some really good quarterbacks. They faced Childs last week. We saw what he did. He threw for 290 some odd yards. He had the longest run in the game of over 60. And now they've got Nico coming in this week. Then they go to Maryland to face this Washington kid who's going to be a phenom. He's true freshman, right? And it's going to be 3 straight weeks of facing quarterbacks that can not only throw it with the best of them, but can hurt you running it, which gives every defense nightmares. And that's the big challenge for this defense for Indiana, because when they faced a quarterback like Childs or the Old Dominion kid that came in here week 1, it caused them problems and has caused them problems because they've given up some big plays to quarterback type of runs.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was thinking about before you mentioned Nico was not feeling up to par per se, because that is the type early on in the season of player that's the only thing that gave Indiana a little bit of trouble. But also I think that they were still learning, because this defensive line is pretty much all new. They were still going through the paces of getting things down. Whoo, man, I love to use this stat. 13 sacks against 2 top 10 teams total against Illinois and Oregon. 13 sacks. And Dante Moore, he can run, but he could not hide
right
against Indiana. So
no. Losing
like
Wyatt will hurt in some respects because of what he brought to the table. I anticipated them moving Daly to that spot because of his progression in the defense, and he's really, like they said, a very freakish athlete in terms of what he can do. And his quickness is unmatched in that respect. Probably play a little bit more of their 3 linebacker set to a degree, or they may jump into, more odd fronts with 3 linebackers because they may not have the overall depth they need to get into a 4-man front. We'll see, but they're going to be challenged on Saturday. And the biggest thing against these guys is you cannot let this cat just run all over you and throw all over you like he did against Penn State. I mean, he tore Penn State apart. They lose contain. He took off for 50-yard gains, 60-yard gains. It was just kind of like, what is going on? And that game was a 7-point game all the way to the end. But the biggest thing is that Penn State's defense could not stop them. And most of it was Nico and his ability to throw it and run it that just killed them.
Indiana taking on the UCLA Bruins this Saturday in a game in which they're looking to go 8-0 for the second consecutive season. We keep just moving that bar up, and that should not be a problem. As a matter of fact, Indiana now pretty good position to go 12-0, which crazy.
It's there.
And here again, I talked about this last year. And I didn't do it again this year because I'm an idiot and I forget, but I'm going to do it. If you would have taken $100 and bet it on Indiana to just win, just win the first game, 110 to cover the VIG. And then that's so you keep even after that, but we'll use the even numbers. So now you just double that, and then you double it and you double it and you double it. And you do the math. I'll let people do the math and see the number you will come up with after if you go 12-0, just by betting $100 to start and then letting it ride.
Yeah, you're just going to take your winnings and add back to it. So week 2 would have been
comes up to be.
Oh, I'm sure it's a big number now because you'd have been betting about what $1,000 last week.
No. What I'm asking is if you had started from the game 1 and did that and went through game 12, do you know what that number ends up being?
You're asking a guy who's math challenged.
Unless my math is poorer than I think it is, which I already think it's poor, that is like $800,000.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that. That's an interesting.
I'm missing something in my figures, in my ciphering.
That's an interesting take. And like you said, it's always great to have it when it's hindsight.
It can't be that easy. I'm like, what am I missing here?
Yeah, what are we missing? It's too easy.
I mean, you take and you double 100, you double it to 200, and you double it to 400, and you double it to 800, then to 16, then to 32, then to 64. I mean, I don't know how that can be right. I'm
you'd have to. We have to get the mathematicians on that one because, like I said, I'm very math challenged. But
it's perfect timing because we need to take a break. Indiana Sports Beat Radio, Jim Coyle and Coach Griffith is with us. Dustin Schutte should be joining me as well. Got much more coming up. Big sports weekend. Glad to have you guys along. Back with plenty more after these messages.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Glad to have you along. I hope your week's going well. It's we're back to the weekend again, man. College football tonight. Actually, probably all through the weekend, even with Friday games, unfortunately. But yeah, looking forward to some good football, man. It's got football weather this weekend as the temperatures have dropped into late October form. Little frost. I saw on my phone a frost advisory, and I'm like, yeah,
wow.
I'm not quite ready for that. I'm not quite ready for that. But
we've been quite spoiled, that's for sure.
It is definitely here. But what are you gonna do? In normal days, this UCLA game would have been a trap game for Indiana, but not now, not this team. Although they started out playing a sluggish start, I guess, but I mean, it didn't seem sluggish to me. This team does what they do for this IU football team. It may take them, they may have a couple series that just don't go well, but they're also a team that can score 5 straight times, 6 straight times. And that's just, I think fans need to chill on slow starts. It's just going to, this team just does what it does.
Well, last week it wasn't a slow start. They had 3 possessions and 3 touchdowns.
Oh, absolutely.
In that regard. But this UCLA team 7 weeks ago wasn't very good. Same players, everything. So there had to be some inner turmoil as to what was occurring there, because it flipped on a dime.
That's mind-boggling. That's still mind-boggling to me.
Flipped on the dime. They fire the head coach. They fire the 2 coordinators. They go out. This is after they went to Northwestern and got beat 17-16, I believe. And then that's when all the changes were made the week of Penn State. And they found a way to beat Penn State. They found a way to beat Michigan State, and they found a way to beat Maryland. And that's what they've done for 3 straight weeks, is found a way with new coordinators and such. But this game Saturday for Indiana, offensively speaking, is going to have to stay on schedule, because I think even Sig has mentioned it. And from what I've seen of UCLA, you get into some odd long yardage situations, you're going to get some junk that is you're like, what am I looking at here? Because it's all over the map. They're not doing it as much now as they were, so they've skinned it down quite a bit, but they still do some funky stuff. So it's the defense, and best thing for Indiana is stay on schedule.
Dustin Schutte in the house. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm just lovely as I can be as we head into another sports weekend. All kinds of stuff going on, man. Guys getting arrested for gambling, dumb stuff. Tom Izzo doing his normal. It's time to rip on the NCAA, which he's one of the few guys left that can do that. And good for him to have him around. But how about that? Yeah, he was ripping the NCAA. They already had the one decision allowing the guy to come back after 2 seasons in the G League. Now Louisville signed a guy that played 3 years in the G League. I'm like, wow, they should call him the Louisville Celtics. It's just ridiculous. I mean, you've gotten such a great product, but they're so afraid that they are slowly letting it be whittled down, I think, because they're afraid that they're going to lose a lawsuit and not doing what should be done. I mean, some things should not be allowed. Guys that played professional basketball for 3 years should not be coming back to college.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I think the problem is they've allowed with these EuroLeague guys who have played to come into the league. So where do you draw the line? They just need to implement some sort of rule that covers it. So if it's 1 year, fine, or whatever the rule is, but come up with they just keep amending the rules. I mean, at some point you're going to have LeBron James is too, but you may have Cooper Flag come back. Like at what point do you draw the line? There are none. But at what point do you draw the line and say this kid can't play? I mean, there are players who have played professionally in Europe who are coming over and playing, and there are plenty of teams who are benefiting from that. I don't know what the problem is in terms of just setting some sort of standard and saying if you've played X amount of years or if you've played in a certain amount of league or whatever the rule is, you can't play college basketball. I don't understand why they keep getting. I don't understand how legal matters work, and I don't understand all these lawsuits. But at some point, don't you know when you're what you sign up for if you're going to go into college athletics? They have the right to have those rules in place, do they not? I mean, clearly not, because they keep getting overthrown. But in my opinion, they should have those. Griff, those meetings were so long as to all the rules that you had to follow when you were a student athlete. There was everything. There for 4 hours, and we were playing D3 for God's sakes. It's just. That's what I always tell people. It's we sat in on those meetings every year, and it was pretty explicit about what you said. I don't know how the NCAA keeps losing all these lawsuits, but I mean, at some point it is just going to be. I mean, at this point it is semi-professional sports.
Oh, yeah, I think it's almost even more than semi. What's the definition of a professional sport?
Yeah. Well, they
pretty much cover it. They're paid, they're coddled, they're taken care of, they're given everything that they want. They're not allowed to lose a lawsuit. I think there's a law that says they can't lose a lawsuit to the NCAA. It's just, yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, there's just so much good going on that you have to be able to tweak where you need to tweak, or otherwise you have no guardrails and things just go off the rails. And that's where this is going to head, unfortunately. But, what can be done, who can do it, all of that stuff. You've got people pushing legislation that maybe would take care of some of this, but then you've got people pushing opposing legislation. You've got different factions, different camps. And so I don't think the NCAA is going to do anything until one of those two legislation packages, whether it's the SCORE Act or the other one, I forget the name of it, but are passed. And the SCORE Act, I think, is the one the NCAA is pushing. The other one, not so much. So until something happens on that front to where it is set in concrete of some sort, or at least plaster Paris, at least plaster, then this is how it's going to be, unfortunately.
Well, the NCAA should take advantage now when the government shut down. Like, they're not getting anything accomplished, right? So, I mean, might as well try to take advantage while the iron's hot. I don't understand. And I think the message I've gotten from not just like Matt Painter I think a lot of coaches is just tell us what the rules, come up with rules and guidelines. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. And then let's put something in place so everybody is playing by the same thing. And there's an understanding that there's going to be some bad players involved. There are going to continue to be people. Cheating's happened in college sports since the beginning of its creation. It's going to continue to happen no matter how long. So you're going to have players who or people that aren't going to play by the rules no matter what the rules are. But for a vast majority of these coaches, if you get something in place, then I think they're happy with it. It's just this constant gambling and not knowing what the roster is going to be, not knowing, hey, are we going to have – it doesn't sound like we're going to get 5 for 5, which I was opposed to in the first place. So but there's just no sense of, like, urgency to get things accomplished. And, again, I think a lot of people blame the NCAA. I do blame the NCAA, but probably not the same reason. Like, if they would have just gradually updated their rule book to not, like, look like it was 1947 anymore – and just continue to update things with the change of times, I don't think you get this snowball effect where everything's just continuing to pile on all at the same time. And I think that's the problem. They don't really know where to start because all of this stuff happened like 6 years ago, and they haven't been able to climb out from underneath the avalanche.
Yeah, and that's the Avalanche. Yeah. That's a great sports name. I mean, there's only one Avalanche that I am aware
Colorado
of.
Avalanche, and it's
right.
Yeah. That's a great sports team name, the Avalanche.
It is. I
mean, it really, I do too. I've never really even thought about it until you said it, until that came out of your mouth. Man.
I used to have a Colorado Avalanche jersey. I have been to one hockey game in my life.
I have been to a couple. I've been to one NHL hockey game.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I've been to one NHL. I went to a number of Fort Wayne Komets games because those were $4 tickets, baby.
Yeah,
and $1 beer night. Who's passing that up?
Who? Nobody. Puck and a beer for $1.
There you go.
For $1. There you go. Absolutely. Hey, man, this weekend, Purdue, another opportunity, but their opportunities are starting to wane. And a team that I thought was going to win more games, I think that they're going to end up with 2 wins now, but it's definitely not an indication. It's definitely not an indication of how far this team has come. It is a little amazing, but that shows you how far you have to go in college football now, because there are so many teams that are meaty, in the middle at worst.
Right. Yeah, I think that's true. I think this team. Here's the thing, and I don't want to. It's hard to throw a guy under the bus being in his first year and being dealt the hand he was dealt, and he's not going to be the one to make excuses. I don't know that this team actually has come a long way. I think that they just fight harder than they did last year, but in terms of the talent and the ability to win, like, it's still not there. And I don't know if that's going to make sense, but I think when you fight harder and you're competitive, I think they have more guys with competitive spirit and at least know where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. I honestly don't believe that was the case last year. I don't think guys knew the play calls. I don't think they understood blocking assignments. I don't know that they understood the concepts they were running or why they were running them. And maybe the why is the biggest reason why they struggled so much last year. But in terms of talent, like, you get Northwestern, I think, is better than what we thought, but you still shouldn't get beat 19-0. You still shouldn't have 4 turnovers in that game. Northwestern imposed their will. They had the ball for 23 minutes of that first half. Purdue had more penalty yardage than they had offensive yardage in that. Like, it was ugly. And to their credit, like, this was the ugliest performance they've had this season. But I'm starting to see that like maybe this is just a team that is more competitive and unwilling to quit. Because I still haven't seen them quit on the field in a game yet. I just don't know that they've improved in terms of their talent level to where I thought that they had when you watched the first 3 or 4 games this season. So to me, this is it. This is probably Purdue's last chance to get a win this season against a Rutgers team that is struggling 3-4, coming in off of a 56-10 loss to Oregon. They're going to be limping into this game. They're the worst defensive team in the Big Ten, but they can throw the ball around. And Purdue's biggest weakness this season has been in the secondary. Now, they've played better in recent weeks against Minnesota and Northwestern, really had a chance to win that Minnesota game. But we'll see. This is it. And if you want any level of confidence heading into the month of November, you have to win this football game because it is, as I've said before, number 25, Michigan, number 1, Ohio State, Washington, number 2, Indiana to close out the season. So you're going to be awfully desperate to try to make anything out of that final month, especially if you can't get a win against Rutgers this weekend.
Purdue has one of the toughest schedules in the country, without question, partly because they do play the best teams in the Big Ten, and they add Notre Dame to that, and
especially the back end.
Yeah, it's brutal. They're going to have to go now. It's going to be too late because you're not even going to be able to have three non-con games. 3 FCS type non-con games going into the future. Nothing's been said or announced, but it's coming. The Big Ten is going to have to add the P4 requirement for non-con games. I don't know how long they're going to wait to make this announcement, but you can't wait, especially after a season like this in which the SEC is going to get into the amount of teams they're going to get in. Hey, I've got to take a break. I'm over. So we've got lots more coming up. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Coach Griffith is on, Dustin Schutte, and myself, Jim Coyle. We're back with more after these messages.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Glad to have you along. Thank you for joining us. Keep it locked right where you got it as you travel throughout the day on your radio dial for all these stations, wherever you're traveling, to get great sports content. Dustin Schutte is with us, Coach Griff as well. Matt Taylor is going to join here in a little bit from the Colts as we'll talk about their continuing great season as they are rolling. And lots of college
football this weekend as well. NCAA allows athletes to bet on pro sports starting November 1st. It was earlier I was talking about the gambling situations with Chauncey Billups and that just got arrested, and now you've got. But what can you do? I mean, some of this stuff, I get it. It was dumb, but it was in place just because they didn't know how else to do it by saying no betting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason that you could prevent someone from, doing something that everybody else in the free world can do. If you want to bet on a Colts game, bet on a Colts game. But college athletes couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's what's changed is the fact that it's legal in about every state in the country right now, and it's impossible to enforce.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job. They've got enough on their plate tracking down these things like these arrests were made for that they don't need to have this kind of stuff. Who cares? Do you really think I care if Fernando Mendoza wants to bet on the Jets to win so he doesn't end up going to the Jets? But yeah, I mean, it's as long as they're not betting on their sport, their games, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that college athletes should be allowed to bet on college sports because, especially in today's day where rarely is the athlete going to be at the same school for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
There is now so much insider information that's out there potentially that I just don't think college athletes should be allowed to bet on college sports, period. Now, bet on anything else. What? You can bet on high school sports, you can bet on pro sports, but not college.
Here's the problem I have with that. And I've been told that in some athletic departments, this may be all athletic departments, as soon as a kid opens up the FanDuel or DraftKings app, there's a notification sent immediately to the athletic department, immediately to their compliance department. So they do a good job of tracking this. But my concern in terms of the pro sports gambling is you just said the same thing I'm going to say with college athletics. What's to stop a former teammate from saying, hey, Daniel Jones is hurt this week. Why don't you place a $5,000 bet? That's what I'm saying. Like, sports getting involved, and I understand that that's where the money is, but sports getting involved with these gambling companies was bad business from the start. Like, it's going to lead to, I'm not going to say the destruction of sports, but you're going to see a lot more of this. Pete Rose, who was the wide receiver that got arrested? Was it Calvin Ridley, or not arrested, suspended? Was it Calvin Ridley from the Falcons maybe? Or I don't want to put it on the wrong guy here because I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Whoever the wide receiver was who got suspended for an entire season. But I think you're going to see more of that because people are going to think that they can get away with it. And they probably are. There probably have been players that have gotten away with it. So where do you draw the line? I mean, you're going to have college kids gambling on college sports. You're going to have pro athletes gambling on pro sports. But that's kind of the bed that the NCAA and the NBA, MLB, NFL, that's the bed they've all made. So now they're going to have to lie in it. And I don't know how you fix it. Put the toothpaste back in the tube, because I'm sure that these websites are getting so much money and that they're paying so much money to these sports leagues and organizations that there's no real way out of it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that you can or should stop them from gambling. They're just like any other student that bets on everything. But just within in the college, if you're in college, you can't bet on college, period, an athlete, because there are too many lines. You have sports that cross all lines that you have access to, potential information to. And
but my question is, how is that different from knowing a teammate that plays in the pro sports? It's this, to me, it's the same concept. Because you
but that's just much, that is not inaccurate, but it's a much rarer case that's going to be the deal. It's just, you're trying to just whittle down the width as much as possible, to eliminate it as much as possible, which that one is not eliminated for completely.
Here's the other problem I have with it. And it's like, I don't know that people want to admit it, but gambling is like, it has addictive habits, and there's reasons they have gambling hotlines. And look, college kids are susceptible to a lot of different things out there, alcohol, other drugs, whatever you want to say. But you're also putting a lot of people who have never encountered the level of money that they're encountering in college sports, and now you're giving them another outlet to lose that money. They're already going to, I think a lot of kids are going to spend a lot of this money because they've just never had this amount of money at their disposal. And this is just another avenue for them to not only like lose money, but get into serious debt. So you're going to have some level of education when you allow this to happen. Now, and we all know how well college kids listen in some of these meetings sometimes. So, but again, I don't know what the answer is. I'm not some brainiac who would give you a great idea as to how to resolve these issues or how to counter the problems that they've created. But it's just, those are my thoughts as to why I think this is maybe not the best idea that they've ever had.
I agree with that, man. I agree with that, but we shall see. Matt Taylor, the man, joining us today. We've actually got video.
What's up?
In the wide world of sports is going on?
How we doing today?
Doing great, brother. How are you doing?
I am fantastic, man. You got the whole crew here. I got the quad box working.
Yeah.
We knew you were coming, so we threw a party.
It's a good looking crew, man. I feel like I'm part of the Brady Bunch right now. I don't know what square to look at. I feel like Alice, I'm like I'm looking around. I got people under me, people over me.
Or we could go Dustin for 400, please.
That's right.
Yeah,
Hollywood
like
Square.
Hollywood Squares. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, mercy. We're just talking about gambling again, and beginning November 1st, college athletes can begin gambling on pro sports. We just saw what happened with Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, and I'm like, I just don't think that college athletes should be allowed to bet on college sports. Anything else, I don't care, because you can't really stop it, and that's fine. But and those are not really champagne problems. Those are major issues, but it's always going to be an issue no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, as it relates to the NFL, I mean, they're pretty hard and fast. I mean, the rules are pretty clear. You cannot, if you're a player, you cannot bet on the NFL. You cannot bet on any sport while you are with the team, right? So if you're at the team facility, if you're on a team trip, if you're on the team plane, if you're in the complex, the team hotel, if you're at an away game, cannot bet on anything. And I don't really understand the rules for that, because I know they're allowed to bet on other sports away from the team, which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But at any rate, those are the rules. And, if a player gets in trouble for sports gambling during the season, it's really on him, because it's not like the NFL doesn't educate the players. It's not like they don't make it very clear what the rules are and, what they are and not what they can and can't do, I should say. So if any player, says, hey, I didn't know the rules or I forgot the rules, that's on them, because if I know the rules, they know the rules, and those rules are drilled into them very, very often.
Well, that's true that, baby. True that. And speaking of knowing the rules, you also know how the Colts are doing. What a season, as the shoe is rolling through and putting a brand on everybody they're playing, man. This has just been unbelievable because it was so unexpected. And I know that people like you that are around the team this is not as much a surprise, and it probably was expected. I think when we talked last, you talked about the team was pretty good. It just needed a quarterback.
Yep.
It needed quarterback play, and boy, not only are they getting it, I guess the question I keep getting is why is Daniel Jones playing so well right now for the Colts under Shane Steichen? What has been the difference? Because he's had other opportunities and nothing close to this. This has just been like a perfect storm.
Well, I think you just hit on it right there. It's Shane Steichen. He's a beautiful mastermind when it comes to offensive execution and play design. And Daniel Jones is brilliantly smart too. And so you put those two guys together, these two nerds that just love football, and then you throw in his athletic ability, his pinpoint accuracy, his athleticism, to be able to move the pocket, bootleg and roll, and also just keep the Colts on schedule in terms of down and distance. That's been the biggest thing. And also too, like we talked about, all those years in New York, he didn't have guys like Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs and Jonathan Taylor and this offensive line. So not to downplay anything at all about Jones's performance in the first 7 games of the season, but he's just the point guard of this offense. He is brilliantly perfect in making great decisions, getting the Colts into good plays, out of bad plays at the line of scrimmage, and just delivering the football where it needs to go for these premier playmakers to help this offense. I mean, this offense is historic right now. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's not even hyperbole either. I mean, they're scoring 33 points per game. They've scored 232 points in the first 7 games of the season, which is the largest point total by any Colts team ever in the Indianapolis era. I mean, Tyler Warren has a touchdown in 4 straight games. Jonathan Taylor looks like he's an MVP candidate. I think Jones himself looks like an MVP candidate. Michael Pittman Jr.'s got 5 touchdowns. The offensive line's given up only 6 sacks. They're 14 of their last 15 inside the red zone. I could go on and on and on in terms of just, unbelievable stat after stat that just indicates where this team is right now from an offensive execution standpoint. And you look at the big picture of the team, right? Defense is going through a little bit of a trouble because of personnel and some injuries, but they gave up over 400 yards of offense to the Chargers last week, and it didn't matter. Like it never felt like they were in question of coming back and making that game a game because the Colts offense just kept matching. They just kept scoring touchdowns quickly and efficiently in the second half of that game, matching touchdowns by the Chargers. And so, even though the Colts, they've got some personnel issues in the back end. They're not getting first wave sacks from their pass rush. They're able to kind of become this defense on the other side of the ball that's just coming up with clutch plays in the fourth quarter, 4th down stops and takeaways and plus territory and key sacks in the fourth quarter. And that's good enough because of how good the offense has been on the other side of the ball.
Well, I tell you this thing. I'll tell you this. I think one of the biggest difference for me watching them, outside of what you just said about Daniel Jones and the connection to Steichen and what they can do with the game plan and stuff, the vertical passing game, which has been basically missing for the last 2 or 3 seasons, has really ignited this year. And part of it is Jones's ability to throw the deep ball with accuracy and timing. That to me has been the huge difference in the amount of explosive plays this offense has generated against, a lot of good defenses, in my opinion. What is your take in that respect? Because that to me has been the biggest complaint the last, 3 years or so, is the lack of the vertical passing game when it came to the Colts, or the lack of speed on the outside, or a quarterback that could accurately push the ball down the field.
Well, I think you're seeing a very complete offense, like you said, and it's very important to have those plays and to get those plays. And even if you don't complete those chunk plays, even if you throw a deep shot down the field to Alec Pierce, or you get, a one-on-one matchup on the outside to Michael Pittman Jr., even if they don't come down with those balls, it's still important to show the defense that you have those plays in the offense and that you are a threat to push the ball down the field, because that'll lighten the box and it'll also widen the defense, horizontally, across the field. And I just think this offense is so complete right now. And this is a really cheesy, bad metaphor, but it makes sense to me. I don't know if you guys like going to the Cheesecake Factory. I love going to the Cheesecake Factory because the menu is so big. They have everything, right? They've got breakfast, they got brunch, they got dinner. The menu is like 32 pages long, and there's not a bad item on the menu, right? Everything hits. And that's kind of like this offense right now for the Colts. Daniel Jones is the chef in the back, and he can make an omelet just as well as he can make a steak. You got the pasta section with the wide receivers and Pittman and Pierce and Downs and Doolin. You've got the versatility of all the sandwiches. We love sandwiches, and the versatility there, what you can do, whether you can make a club, you can make a chicken, you can make a beef sandwich with Tyler Warren and all the things that he can do and provide to this offense. I mean, that's what this offense is. If you're a defensive coordinator, your job every week in this league, Bill Belichick is one of the greatest defensive coordinators in the history of the game, because he always tried to be game specific. He always tried to take away the other team's best player, make you play left-handed. If you beat him doing something else, so be it. He'll tip your cap to you and just, move on and go to the next one. But if you're a defensive coordinator right now getting ready for the Colts, who's their best player? Who do you key on, right? If you take away Pittman, here's Warren, and here's Pierce, and here's Downs, especially in the slot. And if you load the box to take away Jonathan Taylor, the Colts will just kill you in the passing game. And you can't heat up Daniel Jones, because he's shown he's really good against the blitz. His passer rating and completion percentage under pressure is like over 70% this year.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so how do you play the Colts right now? I mean, it's just statistically alarming how good they are in all of these different situations. They're not in third and long. They're getting the deep shots, to your point, Coach. And, they're just equally as dangerous running the football as they are throwing it with Daniel Jones.
I was watching this team throughout the season, Matt, and somebody actually brought this to my attention. I'd like your thoughts on it, because you've seen this team for a lot of years and obviously a lot of weeks now this season. But to me, this team is different, because when I watch them, it looks like they're having a lot of fun out there. And the reason I bring this up is because – when the Colts were really good under Peyton Manning, and this is not to say they weren't having fun, but it was almost like a business-like approach. Like, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is our quest to the Super Bowl. Whereas this Colts team, and again, I don't want to say they didn't think they could be 6-1 at this point, but there's almost like a level of enjoyment that they have just playing together and playing. Is that an aspect of this team, maybe more so than other great Colts teams we've seen in the past?
Yeah, great point, Dustin. And I think you're spot on to bring that up, because, on any good team, you've got to have players, you've got to have good coaches, you've got to have the right scheme, and you have to have a level of professionalism and, like this crazy business-like approach, to want to be great. But at the same time, you also have to have the intangibles, right? And you have to have this togetherness. And you have to like each other, because you guys know, I mean, these guys are around each other probably twofold more than they are, around their friends and family and their loved ones, just because the amount of time on task and the grueling nature of an NFL season, man. I mean, you're around these guys, I don't know, 15 hours a day, it seems like. So if you like each other and you enjoy being around one another, and you can laugh and joke, and there's just nothing like a locker room that's connected. I mean, you guys have been on good teams. You've probably been on bad teams like me, right? I've experienced both, and you just sort of know it when you see it. You know what I mean? And it's hard. It's not something that you can just have. It has to just be there. It has to just be there organically. And that's what I was talking with Jim last week about. I mean, it just seems like the core of this team has been together for such a long time, and they're so connected. All they needed was consistent quarterback play. And this year, they're not getting consistent quarterback play. They're getting way above average quarterback play, which is why you're seeing the team take off. But I think case in point, I don't know if you guys watched the game last week, but Grover Stewart had that interception, right? He tipped the pass in the line of scrimmage. It went fluttering in the air, and then he comes down with it. It was his first career interception in the NFL. The big fella's been doing all the dirty work, up front along that defensive line now since 2017. One of the best players at his position in the NFL, but he's probably one of the most well-liked guys inside the locker room, right? So when he makes that play and he gets his first interception in the NFL, I don't know if there was anybody left on the sideline. I swear to God. I don't know if there was anybody left on the sideline. They were all on the field after that play congratulating Grover Stewart. I think that's just a visible example as to how well connected this team is, how much they like each other. And it's an intangible, but I think it's a big reason why they're so together and why 6-1 has been possible through the first 7 games, because the guys are linked, they connect, and there's a lot of synergy inside that locker room.
I don't want to be the one to bring up a negative question here, but if there's one concern about this team, Matt, is it fair to say it's the pass rush? In terms of making a long playoff run and having to deal with some of the better quarterbacks, probably when that time comes around?
Yeah, it's the pass rush, and I think that's probably being nitpicky a little bit. And I agree. That's coming from me too, because you're so good in so many different areas. You want to see perfection across the board within this team. And again, it's a little bit of a nitpick, because if you look at the overall stats and the overall the box score for the totality of the season, the Colts are upper half in pressures. They're top 10 in sacks. They've got good, very reasonable numbers in their pressure rate. But if you just go back and you watch the games, I think that's where that leaves you a little bit frustrated, because, in the last 2 weeks to the Cardinals and Chargers, the Colts have given up 845 combined yards, 740 combined passing yards. They got the 3 sacks last week, Dustin, but they didn't come until the fourth quarter. And you go back the week before with Jacoby Brissett, he's one of the stronger, just good pocket passing quarterbacks in the NFL. He's a traditional guy. He knows how to shuffle up and climb in the pocket and feel pressure. So give him credit. But also, too, frustration by the Colts, because they only had 1 or 2 true first wave sacks in that game. Same thing in this past game against Justin Herbert. He was rolling out, he was moving the pocket, and the Colts just they weren't able to bring him down with as much consistency as they wanted to. So yeah, no question about it. And that's big going into this game against Tennessee, because Samson Ebekom's banged up. He's week to week, probably not going to play on Sunday now with a knee injury. Tyquan Lewis is day to day, but hypothetically, you could be down 2 of your better pass rushers in this game against Tennessee. Cam Ward's taken a lot of sacks, but, going forward, now that you're about the halfway point of the season, that is something that the Colts might look to kind of sneak around and peek at, what's out there on the trade deadline, prospect. The trade deadline's coming up here in a couple of weeks. That might be an area where the Colts, maybe think that, if we give up some assets for next year to bolster what we got this year, we can make a run if we increase what we have coming off the edge in that pass rush.
I'm thinking about demanding a trade.
You should. Where would you want to go?
Someplace warm.
Aspen?
At least for the... No, that's not what I'm thinking. Yeah.
It's from
Southern
Dumb and
California for...
The salmon of
Capistrano. Even know it.
That's right.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah, I'm with you, Dustin.
There we go. Somebody got it.
Yeah, hey, I can't know them all, man.
If I know Mary like I think I do, she'll invite us right in for tea and strumpets.
Yeah. This has turned into movie quotes with Matt and Dustin.
It's probably a better show already. Ratings probably just skyrocketed. No doubt about that.
I think Dustin and I can go toe to toe for the next hour when you factor in movie quotes. I'm here for it.
Well, it depends on which movie we're talking about now.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm more of like a Big Lebowski kind of a guy. I love that movie is just full of quotes all day long.
Jim, this is not non. This is bowling. There are rules.
There are rules. There are rules. You need a toe? I can get you a toe.
I'll get you a toe.
Get you a toe by 3:30 with nail polish. Oh yeah, baby.
What is going on?
It's gone to the dogs. Gone to the dogs.
This is what happens when the Colts are 6-1, man. It's right. We got a lot of excitement.
Well, I was just getting ready to say something similar. It is true.
To the victor go the spoils. You get to have fun when things are going well. The stress is not there as much. There's always stress there, but I mean, when you're losing, the stress is still there, and it's magnified tenfold. So when you're winning, man, you just got to keep doing what you're doing and enjoy doing it. And that may actually lead to more success, because when you're enjoying what you're doing, it's a lot. It's just, as the phrases go in life, but there's a lot of truth to that. And I think that what we're seeing from this Colts team is a team that is having fun, that is play, and it is just coming back around. And, Daniel Jones looks like he's having the time of his life, which I'm sure he is, because he's looking like the MVP of the NFL right now. And that's as long as Jonathan Taylor doesn't beat him out for MVP right now.
Right.
I mean, and that's another thing. Jonathan Taylor, man, what is it with the Colts and running backs? They have had some of the greatest runs with running backs. I mean, man, you can just name them from Edgerrin James way back in the day to now. They have just, I don't know that there's a team that has just hit on at the running back position as well as the Colts have.
Yeah, and just to drive home the point on Jonathan Taylor, all right, so he needs 4 more rushing touchdowns to capture the Colts all-time record for rushing scores in a career. All right, so hypothetically, if he does that, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he does that on Sunday. He's got 3 games this year with at least 3 rushing touchdowns. All right, but just to drive home the point, if he does that hypothetically on Sunday, it'll give him 65 career rushing touchdowns in his 75th game. Edgerrin James has the record, and it took him 96 career games.
Wow.
That's where he's at. Right
well, he played, giving it to Edgerrin, unfortunately for him, he played on a team that I think there was a requirement that Peyton Manning threw a pass 4 times in a row or 5 or 6 times in a row before there was a ball handed off.
I don't know, man. You go back and you watch some of those Peyton Manning years, man. They would pound the rock. They would.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
They'd be perfectly fine, running the ball 25 times.
Yeah, and he did great. But, yeah, just been amazing, the run of running backs that they've had, man.
No doubt.
Just been fun to watch. What's up next for you, brother? Getting ready.
Yeah, getting ready for Tennessee. It's kind of a weird scheduling quirk. We talked about this, I think, when the schedule came out in May, and now it's here. But if you're a Colts fan and you like coming to Lucas Oil Stadium, you better come Sunday, because this is going to be it for a while. All right. So this is the last Colts home game at Lucas Oil Stadium for the next 5 weeks. You go Pittsburgh, Berlin, you go bye, and then you come off the bye and you play Kansas City. So this is going to be the last true home game for the Colts until the weekend after Thanksgiving. So you better savor up this moment, because if you like,
unless you're going to Frankfurt, Germany.
Yeah, technically, I mean, I do not want to go because I don't do well on planes, and people think, oh, it's fun to get to see Germany. I see none of Germany. I see the hotel, I see the stadium, and I see the bus.
Yeah,
it's just a long.
And it's like, is it a 9-hour flight?
Yeah. So I'll be bringing the gummies and the melatonin, anything that'll knock me out, especially on the way home. Because I do not do well on planes. I don't like the feeling of being trapped in a tube up high in the sky, especially for 10 hours. I am not looking forward to it. But listen, once you're there and once the game's played, there's nowhere else you'd rather be. But it's a lot of logistical hoops to jump through to play a game, 4 or 5 time zones away.
When do you guys fly out for that? Do they go over Wednesday?
I think we're leaving Thursday. Yeah, like I said, there's just not enough time. Like, you land and then you go to work all day Friday. You're at the stadium all day Saturday setting up because of logistics and technology and things like that. And then Sunday you play the game and then you fly home.
Venus Schnitzels for everyone. I am ordering a round of Venus Schnitzels for everyone in the house.
Yes, sir.
Well, buddy, appreciate you as always. Great to see you.
You guys too, man.
A little more often.
I know. I'm gonna go watch Brady Bunch. You know, the episode where Joe Namath hits Jan in the head with the football. That was Jan, wasn't it? Did Jan get hit in the head with a football? Broke her nose.
I believe
right?
so.
No, it was Marsha, wasn't it?
Marsha.
Yeah, it was Marsha. That's right.
Marsha.
Marsha got smoked in the nose.
Yes, she did, buddy. Oh, Matt Taylor, the voice of the Indianapolis Colts. Make sure you're turning down the TV and turning up the radio, baby. Appreciate you, my friend.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
Look
You
forward
too,
to
partner.
talking to you again, buddy.
See you
Matt
guys.
Taylor joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. More coming up with the Brady Bunch after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, FreeThink has you covered, literally, whether it's 2 dozen or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday as we're heading into another great college football weekend and other things going on, of course, but appreciate you guys being with us. Coach Griff with us along for the ride, and we're going to have to come up with a name for Dustin Schutte.
The one and the only.
Oh, I just saw that. The one, the only, Dustin Schutte. I like it.
I couldn't come up with anything better.
See what I had to deal with him in class?
Actually, it's not bad. Not bad.
I put that. I put the intro to coaching class to good use. I was able to coach tennis for 1 whole season after my college career. The expectation was we'd win 0 matches. We won 4. That's job security.
That's right.
Job security.
I'll tell you, here's something that's of interest for you. And I was going to say this to Matt, but time-wise, it was probably too much there. But anyway, Jesse Minter is the defensive coordinator for the Chargers. His dad is Rick Minter, used to be DC coordinator for Lou Holtz at Notre Dame, head coach at Cincinnati, had a lot of success there. He recruited me to Ball State, where he was the defensive coordinator there. Of course, Jesse, his son, then went to Mount St. Joseph, which is
sure you're keeping track of all this, people. There will be a quiz.
Heartland Conference guy, which Matt Taylor is a graduate of the Heartland Conference there with the Franklin Grizzlies. And so there's a lot of connective dots in that whole scenario I was thinking of with Matt Taylor that time because of who they played on Sunday and what Jesse Minter's done there with the Chargers and such, but it's kind of crazy when you think how small the world can get really quick when you're talking about the NFL and the broad base that it has.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But you know what I always think about too and I don't know why this sticks out. This is probably going to be a sad, or I don't know if sad and unfortunate memory for you. The quarterback from Earlham back in like the 2000s, didn't he make an NFL roster with the Detroit Lions? I remember it was like a Manchester Earlham game. The final score was maybe like 70-69 or something.
It was.
I believe it set a high score for, maybe it wasn't a record. I don't know, but it was an
basketball
insanely
and
high
grass.
score.
Basketball and grass. There you go. Jim Coyle, basketball and grass.
Basketball and grass.
On grass. Not and grass, basketball on grass. Joe Tiller reference there.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be that would be basketball. Basketball on grass would be a very slow sport. I think a lot of the players would stop to watch the grass grow, maybe.
Could be.
Yeah. Well, Joe Tiller used to keep the grass high so it would slow down the other team's receivers.
Yeah, but I don't know how true that really is, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't know if it does. I mean, I don't have any knowledge of it, but I know that was a fact that he did that.
Oh, that I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, that I don't doubt at all. But maybe they did some engineering there and was able to determine that grass blades that grow between X amount of inches and X amount of inches produce less wind friction. Look at me spinning out
engineering here.
Oh, sportsman. He was a smarty.
Would this be a year that the Big Ten has the least amount of teams ranked in the top 25? Because right now there's only 4 playing this Saturday in the Big Ten, while the SEC has 9 ranked teams playing this Saturday. But
part of it, in my opinion, is we still have brand bias, SEC brand bias. So people are still thinking teams are better than they are until that they're given a reason to not think that. And now that they're in conference play, they're playing each other. So it's you can't get that.
It'll equal out.
Because again, you go back and look at last year, Michigan beats Alabama in the bowl game. I think there was another example. But it appears the SEC is deeper as far as teams in the middle, and the Big Ten is better at the top. I still think the Big Ten might have the 3 best teams in the country, Dustin. 3, all 3 of them. But Oregon losing the way they did at home, I don't know how good Ohio State really is. Indiana could be the best team in the country. As crazy as that is to say, and crazy as it is to hear, it could be a fact. We don't know how good Ohio State really is because who have they really played?
I was going to say, I think Indiana has the 2 best wins, don't they? I don't think the Texas win is not
as of
nearly
now,
as
right.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, Indiana, if you just ranked them based on, I would say, merit, I would put Indiana number 1. And I think Indiana's offense is better than Ohio State's. My question is, Ohio State's defense is really good.
With that.
I think Indiana's defense is also good. I think I would give the edge to Ohio State just slightly.
But here, I bring this up. We think that Ohio State's defense is really good.
No, that's fair.
But again, what great offense have they played?
Yeah, no, that's a fair
Texas
point.
Texas is not a good offense.
Yeah.
No.
And
their strength of schedule is worse than Indiana's now in terms of their last remaining games that they have on their schedule, because Penn State has not. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the Big Ten also has 7 one-loss teams. And I'm sure the SEC is the same in that, in that body of work, because everybody's going to end up playing each other. But I just thought the Big Ten with 7 one-loss teams was also kind of an odd situation as well, because you think about Iowa's 3-1, Michigan, Minnesota, Northwestern's 3-1, Oregon, UCLA, and USC. So all these teams in theory are all within not only the potential being in the championship game in the Big Ten if things happen, but also you got to think that they could also be in, how many of those one-loss teams are in consideration for the playoffs, because
right.
Oregon's a one-loss team overall. They're 6-1. The rest are 5-2 of that group. So UCLA is only the one that's got a losing overall record, but it could be crazy at the end of the year because you're going to have probably 2 or 3 teams in the Big Ten that are going to probably be 9-3.
Well,
great
so
point by Brian. Indiana does not have the depth that Ohio State has, and Indiana just lost Kellen Wyatt. Man, that was a huge
loss.
Huge loss because, man, yeah, that's big.
Well, here's to go back to the point about the Big Ten and the SEC. Here's the difference. The Big Ten has 8 teams that are 5-2 or better, and obviously the 2 undefeated teams and Oregon are ranked. Every team in the SEC that's 5-2 or better is ranked. Every team.
None of the Big Ten are probably.
USC's
ranked.
USC
and Illinois, I believe, is also ranked.
I think Illinois, USC lost their ranking after last week.
Okay.
Illinois is the only 2-loss team. Well, now is Michigan 2-loss? Okay. So maybe my point doesn't stand as much.
Well,
nonetheless.
But see, here's the issue though. The bias started preseason.
Right.
That's where it started. And unless you're Texas that was embarrassed enough to be dropped out of the top 25 and eked their way back in, a lot of these teams have had to come from the bottom and not had that advantage, and you lose a game and you get knocked back down. But Texas is in the top 25 right now, and I don't think they're a top 25 team.
Well, I'll give you 2 examples. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Texas, I don't know that they have a good win. So the only reason they're back in the top 25 is because they started the season ranked. Oh, Michigan has gotten beat by double digits by Oklahoma and by USC. So their 2 toughest games they've gotten beat, and they're in the top 25. So it's because they started the season ranked. And I think Washington's a good team. I think that was a good win. But the 2 times you've gone on the road, you haven't really, I don't want to say they weren't competitive, but they didn't really have chances to win. And so they're in the top 25. The rankings make no sense. It's all based on basically where you start the season, which is why they shouldn't do this until week 4 or 5. There you go. Good soundbite.
What is that?
Because I think I'm not kidding. Now hold on, wait for the cheers, because people who will hear this, I legitimately think if the committee values not just the eye test, but based on who's dominated games and the best wins, Indiana will be ranked number 1. Assuming they win, they will be ranked number 1 in the college football playoff poll.
On your hands.
You don't expect them to do the right thing?
No, I never expect them to do the right thing because there will be enough biased people on there. And it's, before I finish that line, I'm going to hit our last break because we've been behind all day long today because of me. We're back with more right after this. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing.
Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemooreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. So happy to have you along with us. Keep it locked where you got it on your radio dial as you go up throughout the your travels for the day. Coach Griff with us and Dustin Schutte as well. A little Brady Bunch action today, but we need to do this more often. It's a lot of fun, a lot more fun. Let's see, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, someone said something funny that if it wasn't illegal, Marlboro would be knocking down IU's door to sponsor the new press box. Can you see? Think of this: the press box with the Marlboro. I don't know what you call it. Chevron
the logo
thing.
Yeah.
The Chevron thing over top of the press box.
Well, you got the Marlboro man that can now be Sig in a cowboy hat.
That's me, man. Hey, that's what I usually go as. If I ever have to go anywhere for a Halloween, for like a Halloween party,
you go as the Marlboro man.
Well, not necessarily the Marlboro man, but like a rodeo cowboy, because it's I just go into the closet, pull out all the old stuff, and strap it up and go, man.
Why not?
Easy. Absolutely. I wrote a song. You know, everybody. We're going to run out of time, unfortunately, but we need to do this again. Indiana, does Purdue have like a third quarter song that they play and the fans get into and sing and all that?
Do they have one that they play? Yes. Do the fans get into it? I think the fans hate it. It's Shout.
Yeah.
At the end of the third quarter.
That's what Oregon has.
Yeah. Because but Shout at Oregon is like that's
where the movie was filmed.
Right, exactly. And Purdue adopted it, gosh, I don't know. I feel like in the mid 2000s.
I heard the story about Wisconsin and what is their
Jump around.
I heard the story about how when I was driving to Iowa, to the Iowa game, I was listening to something and I heard the story how that came to be. It's not that old,
right?
That tradition. Indiana needs that. That's the one thing that I saw when I was at Oregon that Indiana has to get going. Some fun in the stadium. They've got to get away from the old Indiana fans, the old fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got to. You can't ignore a group, but you can't cater to just the students. The students are not the biggest part of the damn attendance. So, but I wrote a song, and I'll share it with you the next time that we're able to get together. But I will send it to you so you can have an understanding of it. Man, another fun day. I wish we could do this every day. This was a blast. Coach, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
See you tonight, 7:30. Who's your tailgate? We'll break down this UCLA team.
Who do you have with you, or is it just on your own?
I'm on my own, man. I'm in my cockpit. I'm just ready to roll. It's just me, myself, and I.
You enjoy it. Make sure you go check that out tonight.
the Hoosier.com and Coach Griff there. Appreciate you, sir. Have a good weekend.
You too.
All right. And Dustin, of course, you got a weekend coming up. What's your weekend entail?
It entails Purdue, a lot of Purdue stuff, Purdue Kentucky exhibition game, Purdue volleyball match against Illinois, and Purdue football against Rutgers this weekend. So 3 for 3 this weekend.
Good lineup, man. I hope you enjoy it as well. If your schedule allows it, we need to start doing a little bit more of this. This is fun. We need to get a sponsor for the shoot. Let's call it the Schutte Shouts or something. I don't know. We'll come up with something. But so for those of you out there that may know someone who may be interested in doing a little sponsorship, it's very inexpensive. But we need to get Dustin on more. So we'll have to talk about the Schutte segment.
There you go. Dustin. There you go.
Schutte. There you go. Schutte. I like that too. But yeah, always fun. I knew a guy named Schutte, but his last name started with a T.
Oh, okay. So kind of like Will Shetter at Michigan, but that starts with a T, pronounced Shetter. Yep.
Oh, Shetter. Oh, Shutter. Well, appreciate everybody as well. We're back tomorrow to do it again, to get you headed off to your weekend. Go out and enjoy the rest of your day. For Dustin Schutte, I'm Jim Coyle. You know where I'll see you. Until the next time on the radio, you go out and have yourselves a good day. And until then, I am Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.